And are we live? I believe we are. Hello, I'm Clockwork Cartoon, full-time cartoon villain and game design student. Back with another one of these Bloons Tower Defense custom level playthroughs. Playthroughs? Yeah, I guess they technically be playthroughs. And more specifically, finally going back and beating Stonebridge BMC, because I have a feeling Etten is going to be a good hero for this. If I can figure out how to survive the early game in order to actually beat it. Hard chimps not continuing. And have that open. Let's check over that everything's working. Yep. So then, let's get this final show on the road. And finally, beat this level. I swear, Villains 7's level here has been giving me so much trouble. Let's start off with a dart monkey here. Sniper monkey up here. And hope that is enough to get it. So I guess it also brings up the idea of what do I plan on talking about today? Oh. Did I make sure, probably want that off. Talking about today. Well, there's actually something interesting that's been on my mind lately, and that... Hold on. Damn it! God, only one short. What about 2 dart monkeys? Actually, what if we also... So, put... I mean, I know these types of monkeys are pretty good. Yes. And that is... So, this might be a weird thing that's been on my mind lately, but the 7 deadly sins. Damn it! The 7 deadly sins. What if I actually remember seeing an anime recently. That kind of... That kind of utilize the 7 deadly sins as a power system, or at least as a basis for various spells. And that actually got me thinking on the idea of the 7 deadly sins as a power system and how they would actually work, because I feel like a lot of pop culture kind of gets the 7 deadly sins wrong. Do I just need like multiple dart monkeys? How many dart monkeys can I place? Because, okay, so in the anime, gluttony was represented in the form of this ability to... Damn. Gluttony was represented by this ability to essentially consume... to consume various... Like, you could eat a person, and in doing so you would gain that person's skills. Is this really any better? I think I'm actually popping less. Yeah. And that does make some sense in the common interpretation of gluttony, because gluttony is often associated with the idea of food and consumption. However, what I think a lot of people forget is that gluttony is more than just consumption. or it's more than food. It is specifically indulgence or overindulgence. This can be, of course, in the form of food, but it can also be in the form of, like, lavish fineries or various other expensive goods. Hey, this might actually work. Now I just need to make sure I survive to get long enough to get Etum. Now, gluttony is also oft in... Damn it. Like, I also... Oh, right. I feel that this heavy association with food has also kind of, like, resulted in a massive misinterpretation of gluttony and how gluttony can be exposed. Or how gluttony can be expressed. For instance, a common design element that I believe that I completely flubbed. That people often suggest for gluttonous characters is to actually have them be kind of malnourished. Yeah, to have them malnourished or to heavily associate gluttony with hunger. But I would posit that I forgot to switch the hands again. I would posit that hunger is actually an antithesis of gluttony, because hunger suggests need, malnourishment suggests need. You are malnourished because you lack food and therefore need food. Gluttony is specifically overindulgence. It is having more than you need. It is want over need. What the? I am... I am really struggling here. That's left if I... What if... Nah, because this doesn't allow for... What can I place with a sniper? Because a sniper... Only a dart. So, a malnourished form and the idea of hunger represents a need for food, whereas gluttony specifically represents consuming more than you need. Which is why I believe hunger the idea of hunger misses the point of what gluttony is. Or the association of gluttony with hunger misses the point of what gluttony is meant to represent. Let's try putting you here. Gluttony is also oft, in a way, conflated with greed, and the two are very similar, but there is a distinct difference between the two. Whereas gluttony is indulgence, greed is hoarding. Both are in essence about taking more than you need, but whereas a gluttonous person will indulge in what they take a greedy person will simply hoard it. That would be the good move here. Do I try and secure? Or do I just hope that this will be enough to... Let's try that. Am I missing more? Feels like I'm missing more. No. Damn it. No. Fuck. Okay, that was not the right round. Do I restart from the beginning? Nah. We'll be here all day if I do that. So then, where was I? Right. So, gluttony is a representation of taking in order to indulge, whereas greed is a representation of taking to have. Using food as an example, a gluttonous person would take food in order so that it may indulge and eat that food, whereas a greedy person would take food in order to, and then would take food, lock it up, just so they are the only one that has the food. Using money as an example, a gluttonous person may take money so they can spend that money on all sorts of lavish fineries, whereas a greedy person will take that money and, again, lock it up just so they can have it. A greedy person won't indulge in what they take. A sin that actually overlaps more with gluttony is lust, because lust is mainly associated with desire, or strong desire. I think this is safe. Damn it. I need to just... yeah. So, whereas with yeah. So, I'd honestly struggle to really mark the difference between gluttony versus lust, because they do kind of overlap. You can overindulge in carnal desires, and you can you can overindulge in carnal desires, so gluttony, yet carnal desires itself is heavily associated with lust. Granted, lust isn't just carnal desires. Much like how people often can make the mistake of conflating gluttony with food, lust can be more than just carnal pleasure. It can also be things like power. A lust for power is a very common term, or a common example of what this would be. I think I can finally get Etten. Okay. Crap, I don't know what's the best place to actually place that, and probably around here-ish. That way Etten gets a... oh, come on. Yeah, because back here is a bit too late in my opinion for Etten to be too effective. Go just to be safe, and I'm fairly certain we'll be safe from this point. So, in a sense, I guess you can consider lust a precursor to not just gluttony, but many different many other sins. Because if lust is merely is associated or a representative of strong desire or overwhelming desire that is untempered, then that means all other sins are born from it, because many sins are born from desire. Or at least they start off as desire. For instance, before you can overindulge, you must first have a desire to overindulge. I swear to God, if this... okay. Gonna really need Shrapnel Shot here. With greed, before you begin hoarding, you first have the desire to hoard. With envy is also very much spawned from desire. In fact, envy is merely desiring what others have. I guess wrath and pride don't really start with desire, though you could say wrath can spawn from a desire for revenge. But pride is its own beast entirely. Yep, did not mean to press that. Okay. Grapple shot. Okay, I think... wait, no... oh, son of a bitch! Too late, I used it too late. Okay, so I'm gonna need to use this much sooner. I swear, this all loops back around to that anime and power or ability concept I was talking about. Just need to explain everything first. So, at least these ideas first. So in a sense, lust overlaps with many of the sins due to its massive great association with desire. And in a sense, all other a good portion of the other 7 deadly sins first spawn from a desire of something. Oh crap, I didn't get shrapnel shot. Well, I have them now, hopefully that'll make enough of a difference. And then bouncing bullets should help. If I can save up to that point. So, one thing... Okay, so here's how that anime, whose name I'm completely blanking on, handled its sins. So gluttony was the ability to eat a person or thing or entity or what have you, and through that consumption take that thing's skills. I'm gonna die here again, aren't I? Wait, maybe not? Okay, but that was a lot. That was way too close for my liking. Is there, like... What can I get that would actually help here? And I really want to save up for bouncing bullet. Maybe more pierce on this? Maybe that much of a setback, right? I'm gonna risk it. We'll retry the round if it doesn't work. And we should have it in the throne thing. Up and running, let's use it. And Etchen's drone thing did... Oh. Great. Then it had Sloth. Honestly, I did forget about Sloth. Sloth is another example of a sin that doesn't necessarily connect or isn't precursed by lust or desire, since Sloth is more so the absence of desire. I guess it is technically like a desire to be lazy, but lust is more associated with the idea of passion, comparatively. Passionate desire. Crap. Crap. Retry last round, we're gonna need something here. Maybe this will work, just more piercing to deal with more balloons. I set you to last, because we don't want you... We want you popping stuff. Yeah, there we go. So... Right, Sloth. Sloth... The representation of Sloth was actually not an ability, but a weapon. I should have used that ability sooner. Or not at all, damn it. Nope. But specifically a weapon wherein every time you swing with the weapon gets heavier, thus making the attacks much slower, thus slothful. However, it also makes the attacks more powerful. Okay, I want to use it now. Essentially, while you get slower with every strike, the weapon gets heavier and thus has more force behind it. Come on, bouncing bullet. Oh, thank God. And just in time. Which I guess makes... It's more of a... It's more metaphorical than it is like an ability that actually has a connection to Sloth. You know, Sloth is lazy and slow, therefore weapon gets slower, but does more damage. I mean, it's definitely an interesting concept. I really like that idea just for a weapon in general. At the same time, though, I feel it kind of is another thing that isn't necessarily representative of the idea of Sloth. And again, it is kind of hard to necessarily associate Sloth with anything, really. Panic button. Actually, I'll get into my ideas for how Sloth would work as an ability later. After I finally finish describing what the anime did. Or at least what I remember what the anime did. Pride, weirdly enough, wasn't actually a representative power. It was kind of like a beta weapon called Vanity. Basically, some of the sins have weapons associated with them, but these and Pride was, or the representation of Pride currently, is a weapon called Vanity, which acted as a sort of beta to all following sin-based abilities and weapons. I forget what it did exactly, though. I think because it was a beta weapon, it actually didn't really do much. I think he did fully auto rifle there. Then there was... I believe Wrath was basically an ability to go into Berserker mode. Again, very common thing associated with Wrath, and it does make sense. Blinded by the saying blinded by rage, for example. Being so blinded by your anger that you're unable to see or think straight. And then I believe Lust was just your very basic charm ability, which again makes sense. Lust is often associated with charm, even though, or lust is often associated with desire, or the idea of beauty, sex, pleasure. Wait, shit, can I actually say that on YouTube? God, the fact that YouTube has like all these weird things you have to tiptoe around, like you can't say certain words even if you're describing them in specific contexts. Really makes you wonder what a fucking schmexual education video would be like here on YouTube. I guess there is the education tab, which gives exemption, I think. Maybe? I don't know. YouTube bots can be finicky. Just to be safe. And roll around camo. I don't think it'll help with this one very much. Now we should be able to start going for this. I'm trying to remember what the other ones. So I went over Sloth, Gluttony. Sloth, Gluttony, Lust, Wrath, Pride, which also left Greed and Envy, which I am actually kind of blanking on what the anime specifically did with those sins. But okay, why do I bring all this up? Well, because I'm kind of interested in analyzing what each of these individual sins could be in their own right. Or theorizing how I would incorporate the 7 deadly sins into a power system or into specific spells or abilities that I believe are representative of the sins themselves. Vic. You know what? The Dart Monkey's not that important. Please be big enough. Yes. Now, okay, so let's start with gluttony. Gluttony, as I said, is overindulgence. It is about having more of what you need, which in my opinion, the best ability for gluttony, if we're looking this, I'm looking at this from a game mechanics standpoint, like, if I were to create an ability or weapon that is meant to represent gluttony, how would I do it? Well, what I would do, or what I would make gluttony, is a weapon where every time you deal damage with it, it increases in damage, a positive feedback loop. You deal damage, which gives you more damage, which then means you deal more damage to do more damage. That, in my opinion, is very representative of gluttony and overindulgence. It is about getting more damage than you necessarily even need. And this is completely divorced from the idea of hunger, just a part of the idea of overindulgence. Something you do weirdly see with gluttony is it often gets associated with healing. I guess that's mainly because of its food association, perhaps, but again, that's one of the weird things I never quite understood, or at least think people often take for granted. So, and Relentless Loop. So that's what I do for Gluttony, a weapon that deals more damage the more damage you deal with it, to represent a constant indulgence in damage. With Greed, I actually believe that would make more sense for health-based abilities, because specifically, I believe Greed should be represented by a life leech ability, as well as perhaps a passive ability that makes it harder for you to lose life. Because think about it, Greed is about hoarding and coveting. It is about coveting, or Greed is about hoarding and taking. With Greed, you will... So with Life Leech, the Life Leech represents taking. You take life from others to add to your own life, whereas a passive defensive ability from this Greed ability would be reducing the damage you take, and the representation of coveting the life you have taken, or hoarding the life you have taken and not giving any of it away. Moving from Greed, I believe the next one I would do is Wrath. And Wrath is fairly simple in my opinion, because Wrath is very much about vengeance, anger, fury, etc., which means that it would follow the convention of being that rage buff mechanic, but I also believe that it should specifically be a mechanic that first comes from taking damage, because Wrath is very much in the idea of vengeance. It is a overreaction to a slight. Do I have? Yeah, I have that ability. Can I get Avenger? Yeah, I should save up for Avenger next. Ah, damn, if I get... Alchemist wood. Oof. So... I would make Rage, or Wrath, very similar to like how Barbarian's Rage works in D&D. Where you can trigger it, but in order to keep it up, you have to take damage. Essentially, you constantly need to get payback on others for what they do to you. Damn, should have moved it further up. So, then Pride. Actually, I think a series that got Pride really, or got the concept of Pride as an ability down really well, is ReZero, and I believe the character's name was Regulus. Now, I won't get into too much of how the specifics of his power or spoiling the mechanics of it. All you really need to know for this discussion is that his power essentially made him invincible. It meant that nothing could blemish him, which I believe makes sense for Pride. Pride is more so ignoring your flaws, or actively choosing to ignore your flaws and believe yourself to be perfect. So the idea of Pride actually being a defensive ability I should probably just bite the bullet and get an alchemist here. Makes sense. Because it is essentially you ignoring or making yourself a statue or image of perfection by ignoring or just dismissing the negative effects or damage dealt to you. Now then, that leaves, I believe, Envy. Envy, I also believe, many people do get it right, because often Envy is associated with shapeshifting, or at least Full Metal Alchemist popularized that concept of Envy being shapeshifting thanks to its character, well, Envy. And yeah, that makes sense, because with Envy, Christ, I am completely blanking. With Envy is desiring what others want or have. So what better example of Envy could there be than the ability to shapeshift into someone else? However, how I would personally do it in a video game is that an Envy spell would be about copying another creature's stats or powers. Especially, I would do it specifically like this. The Envy ability allows you to not to copy the stats of anyone whose stats are higher than you. So say a person has a higher strength stat from you. Well, you use the Envy ability and all of a sudden your strength stat is equal to theirs. That, I believe, would be a perfect example of what an Envy power could be. You are envious of someone else's strengths, so you copy them. Or at least try to copy them. I don't want to risk it with an outbuff. Shapeshifting does still make sense as a Envy ability. It's just that I don't believe shapeshifting works all too well from an RPG game standpoint. Or at least it'd be hell to code. Do I save up? I should save up for Icicle Impale. Sorry, just checking something. Now, when it comes to... Okay, it's a quick side thing. Something that ReZero did is that actually its representation of Lust, whose name I cannot remember, but I do remember that I can't pronounce it, so it wouldn't matter anyways. But their representation of Lust has the ability to shapeshift, and the character specifically uses this ability to shapeshift into like whatever physical appearance someone would like. And again, that makes sense. In fact, many succubi and incubi have said to take the appearance of beautiful men or women that are specifically tailored to the desires of their target. So Lust also being associated with shapeshifting makes sense. And admittedly, Lust, I'm probably going to be I was probably the laziest with when thinking of concepts for it, how it could work. Because I do believe that charm abilities, specifically, are just so synonymous with the idea of Lust. like, lust itself is representative of desire, and charm doesn't necessarily have to be, I don't want to say romantic, but carnal in nature. It doesn't need to be specifically lustful in the sense that you are attracted to that person physically. Like, charm can also be yeah, you like this person, or you think like, or you like this person, or think they're cute, or maybe you just, or like you could be lustful. I know this is gonna sound weird, but lustful towards food. If we recontextualize lust as general desire and not carnal, to be lustful for food just means to desire food. Much like how being lustful for power does not mean you have a power kink, it just means you desire power. So, how would one really... Yeah, I would... As much as I want to have a specific lust power be associated or connected to the idea of desire, unfortunately desire as a concept I feel is just too nebulous to make into a solid power. So yeah, lust ability, any lust ability I would make would be related to a similar to a charm effect. Being able to turn hostile creatures... Actually... I mean, if we instead flip it into the idea of... If we flip these powers instead from necessarily somatically representing, but rather be inflicting, because then you can basically make an infliction-based power from any of the 7 deadly sins. It's very easy to, like, inflict greed or inflict gluttony, because then it's just person feels insert sin. Like, that's not so much of a power itself, you know? Or at least there's nothing mechanically interesting in that power. Now, that leaves Pride. Or Pride and Sloth. Going over Sloth first. While Sloth can easily be associated with slowness, like a Sloth ability could be a slowing ability. Please, please, please. Oh, thank God. I think a better Sloth-based ability would actually be a purely passive ability. I mean, what better way to represent Sloth than an ability where you don't have to do anything and it's just kind of passively active? Granted, the obvious conclusion from that point is this idea of, oh, you passively slow people down. Like a passive slowness effect around you, which I guess makes sense. You being so lethargic that it makes those around you lethargic. I also... Nah, I'll get into that later, but yeah, I believe Sloth would work best as a purely passive ability that requires no player action. It's just always kind of there. Again, to represent how Sloth is very much founded in the idea of inaction. And... oh yeah, I already went over Pride as this idea of perfection. Right. So those are how I would kind of handle the 7 deadly sins as a, either, not maybe say a power system, but specific powers. But of course, the idea, like, so many villains in anime, or even just anime in general, have utilized the idea of the 7 deadly sins to create these characters. But what you see less often in media of all sorts is the 7 heavenly virtues being turned into powers. Which I don't really get why. I mean, imagine a team of 7 heroes, each representing a different virtue, facing off against a team of 7 villains, with each representing a different sin. Like, I mean, the concept just writes itself, to be honest. Crap, I should think about what I'm getting next. Elite Defender? Yeah, I think Desert Phantom. Yeah. Actually, wait, Cripple Mode might be the better option for one. Set you to strong, and then make sure to get shrapnel shot for coverage. Right, where are they? So the 7 heavily virtues as power systems. Let's start with patience, because I believe I have a good idea when it comes to patience. Hold on. Sorry, I had to cough and take a sip. So, patience as a power. I believe that patience should either be a power that, upon activation, has a delay, or it should definitely be a power with a cooldown of some sort, or some kind of delay before you actually get the payoff for the power, as a way to represent patience being where you basically wait. Patience is about, in a way, I don't want to say inaction, but it is about waiting for a better payoff in the future. So, a patient power would either have a long cooldown for a large payoff, or it would be something you have to build up. Like, say, this is a patience ability where that kind of logs the damage you deal. Or yeah, patience as an ability could keep track of every time you deal damage, and then at the end of the ability, it triggers as one final large bit of damage, a way to sort of pay off all the damage you had been doing as the effect was active. It doesn't buff you in the immediate. It doesn't give you any immediate bonuses, but it gives you a singular bonus later on. Pardon me. You know, I was really hoping to get at Hen's missiles much sooner. Or at least before 90, but... what was I actually thinking? Right. That would be how I'd handle patience. So the idea of patience as the power. Then let's move to... what would be the next best one? I guess Chastity would be the next one to cover. I believe, much like how Pride would be the defensive ability for the... Pride would be the defensive ability for Sin, Chastity would most likely be the defensive ability for Virtue. Well, okay, the thing with Chastity is that it is much more associated with the idea of lustful desire compared to... Okay, did not want to do that, but... Lustful desire compared to lust itself, even. But the other issue I find with Chastity is that it is strikingly similar to Temperance. Like, both are essentially representative of self-control, where Chastity is self-control currently, versus Temperance, which is, you know, self-control of your anger. Damn it. I guess I can get to Desert Phantom very soon. Perhaps Desert Phantom will be enough to help me here. Which makes it really hard to necessarily differentiate the two. Yeah, Chastity would be the purely defensive ability, and most likely. Come on. Which, I'd probably have to really look up how Temperance necessarily differs from Chastity in order to make a strong conclusion over it. I admit, I'm more familiar with the concept of the sins, if only because they appear more in media as a concept compared to the virtues, again for some inexplicable reason. I should start just investing the... Yeah, I think I need to get Etinus level 20 as soon as possible. I'll actually be able to get it this round. I've completely lost track. Okay, so I already went over the idea of Patience being an ability that you activate but then has a delayed reaction to represent having to be patient for the payoff. Then there's the idea of... okay, let's put Temperance and Chastity on the back burner and move to the idea of Kindness. Actually, Kindness is another one that has a very weird overlap with another virtue, Charity. Both are representative of giving. Which... Actually, hold on, let me... Oh, let me... Okay, hold on. I actually look this up. Give me a second. Well, this is interesting. Granted, I may need to take a more in-depth look, but if this is to be believed, then Chastity is specifically completely refraining from something, versus Temperance, which is more about moderation. Essentially making them a sort of two sides of the same coin. Oh, okay, maybe not that specifically, but like very similar in concept. Okay, let's me using you earlier. So, ability-wise, how would they work? Chastity... Okay, I'll have to, like, again, come back to those. Versus... Oh, wait, also kindness and charity. You know, I'm noticing a lot more overlap with the virtues compared to the sins. The sins feel much more distinct from each other. I guess... Okay. Okay, so this is also so kindness and charity have a very similar thing going on as temperance and... Damn it. Have a very similar thing going on as temperance and chastity, whereas charity is giving to those in need, kindness is more about showing respect and empathy. I guess that makes charity like the obvious healer option, like you are giving health to others. I guess in a sense, kindness, if kindness is seen as more of like passive comparatively. Let's set you to first, actually. Actually, you can... Maybe... Just maybe. Does that actually give the buff to the UAV? I hope it does. I think it did. That or Deadeye here just does some real high damage. Then okay, so if charity would be the act of giving, thus giving health, kindness perhaps could be more stat-based? Oh! What if kindness was about bringing others up to your level? Kind of like an inverse of... what? Perhaps it's better to look at these as inverses of the ideas I had, or came up with for, inverses of the ideas I had for the sins. So if we... So charity, I believe... Hold on. I don't want to get it too wrong. Okay, so if charity opposes greed, honestly the health idea still stands. Because if charity opposes greed, and greed is about taking health and then keeping that health, then charity would... if greed is about taking health through lifesteal and then keeping that health through defensive bonuses, charity would be representative of giving health to others. If chastity is the defensive ability, and lust is an ability that is the infliction of the charm status effect, perhaps chastity could be the status effect defensive ability. If gluttony is about dealing damage to deal more damage, what would temperance be? Dealing less damage? Perhaps if we assume... indeed. Perhaps temperance would make sense as an idea of... Hello. Perhaps temperance would make... Oh, right. I'm currently just rambling on about the idea of the 7 heavenly virtues and the 7 deadly sins as a magic system. Well, not a magic system, but like how their abilities would work if put into a video game. Funnily enough, you see a lot more of the 7 deadly sins in media than you do the heavenly virtues. Currently, I'm wondering on what temperance, or was it temperance? I believe it was temperance. Yes, it was temperance, because I determined that what makes sense for gluttony, because gluttony is overindulgence, the best example of gluttony as a power would be dealing damage in order to deal more damage. Basically, a weapon or ability where every time you deal damage, you end up... let's use you. Every time you deal damage, you end up gaining a damage boost, thus being able to deal more damage, and crap. So, if we assume that any virtue ability should in some way oppose the sinful ability, then temperance should be reducing your damage for some kind of bonus. I don't believe it should be reducing your damage to gain damage later, mainly because I already thought that the best idea for patience would be an ability with a long cooldown, or an ability that tracks how much damage you deal, to then deal a big chunk of damage at the end of the ability, sort of like working towards something. So, that raises the question. So, moving back to temperance. Why? Dang. Moving back to temperance. Perhaps temperance actually makes more sense as an effect that should be placed on the enemies. Sort of like a counter to gluttony. If gluttony is about dealing damage to gain damage, temperance could be about reducing your enemy's damage. Let's use you sooner. Maybe that'll help better. And then... No. That still doesn't work. Or... that was temperance. Ah, but then diligence. Diligence is also the act of remaining consistent and self-control. A lot of the virtues are just various different interpretations of self-control. You know, maybe that's the reason why the virtues seem to have so much more, maybe not so much more to them, but so much more representation in media. If I do this, will it be enough to reach? Probably want to wait until they're a bit closer. I have no way of really dealing with them once I get to this point. I think that... was this the same round I got stuck on last time? Maybe. So then, where was I? Let's try... yeah, it'll reduce... oh, it reduces it by a lot. Most of the virtues are aspects of self-control, or involve self-control in some way, which does kind of make it a bit more limited, because they all seem to act specifically in opposition to the sins, which makes sense, but... like, with kindness and charity, there's at least something to work with. Like I said, kindness may be bringing up others to your level, versus charity, which could be the act of giving health. Okay, that was not the right play, because buffing you just makes you move on to others. Let's try buffing you then. Am I just using the abilities too soon? That could be it. Patience, kindness, and charity are all easy, or at least I've been able to come up with ideas for them. Diligence, temperance, and chastity are a bit harder of a concept to really analyze. And humility, oh boy, I don't even know how humility would necessarily work. Damn it. I keep getting caught on this level. At this point. Probably possibly best to... Spike-a-pult, maybe? I mean, ceramic damage. Ceramic damage indeed. Wait, why did it... Oh, right, I just remember why I said the last. It was to get heavy piercing damage. But maybe... this. To deal with ceramics. Now, where was I? Charity is giving health. Kindness would be buffing stats to your level. Actually, would buffing stats make more sense for humility? Because it is... If humility is not being... or is the idea of being humble, not viewing yourself as better than everyone, then that makes the most sense for humility as an ability to be bringing up others to your level. Essentially strengthening others to be as strong as you in a way. But then again, what does that leave kindness as? I guess another really difficult aspect when it comes to the idea of what each... Yep. I am... maybe another one? If that one's set to strong... Maybe setting this one the first will help. I keep getting sidetracked. Yeah. Something you may notice with a lot of, or at least I noticed in general, it is much harder to come up with support abilities compared to damage and status affecting abilities. Or at least compared to creating support abilities that act independent of damage or negative effects. Mainly because there's only so many ways you can really flavor a buff. There's only so many ways you can flavor healing, pardon me, compared to flavoring I have no real way of dealing with a large group of ceramics back here. Like, the problem is, like, once the ceramics get to this point, it's over. Which makes me wonder... Oh well, perhaps musing about how the virtues would work as abilities has to come for another day. I definitely need to put a bit more thought in, or put more thought and time in the oven comparatively. I mean, this seems to be working. But perhaps I need more explosives. And, oh wait, I think, no, I need even more explosives. I think explosive spam would be the best route here. I know you worked fairly well, did you? But I still have like a bunch left over. So what if I just did that? In fact, maybe buffing you up with Desperado here would make more sense. Activate you earlier, maybe activate you now. Then you. Damn it. Not even that worked. How do I deal with ceramics? Like, once I get to this area. Mortar? I mean, mortar would be a bit odd, but it could work. Regardless, where what? Let's go with bigger blast and faster reload. Just need... Actually, hold on. Okay, we'll try this first. And we're gonna have to be very specific with targeting here. Back to the original discussion of how the 7 deadly sins of 7 heavy virtues can be translated into video game powers. Set target to here. Set target to here. Activate you, probably. Damn it! I am... Don't tell me this is yet again. I need to deal with ceramics by this point. Actually, doesn't middle pass deal with ceramics much better? Ceramic lead fortified. So this should work much better. Anyways, back to the discussion on different abilities, virtues and sin as video game abilities. We've already gone over what each of the 7 deadly sins could do as abilities. But the virtues are so much harder, I both believe, because the 7 heavenly virtues do seem like they will be inherently support-based, which I personally find much harder to plan around. I mean, there's only so many ways you can really flavor stat boosts. And again, I suppose there's only so many ways you can necessarily flavor and stat decreases. Oh shit, I'm supposed to be... That's not what I wanted to press. But if I set target to... Damn! Okay, gonna need to be very precise here. A lot more precise than I was being. Right. Maybe it would be better to look at them as, like, meant to oppose or counter. I completely forgot to buy Ah, God, memories. Memories are just slipping here. Set target to, let's say here, increase damage. And then I should actually get... This should help, certainly. Artillery battery, slow down, and I flubbed it again. Okay. Both set target to... Let's just... Yeah. Gonna have to really focus on this one, so pardon me if I go silent for a bit. Slow it down so we can be even more precise. And be prepared to set target to here. Grab you. And then prepare to set target to here. Use you. Set target to here. Set target to here. Set target to... Damn it. This isn't working, but maybe... I mean, this could work. Okay, not gonna be able to get the Apache Dart ship, but hopefully this will be enough to handle it. Actually, maybe it'd be a good idea to use this sooner. Like once the balloons get over here on Et-10, because Et-10's range would then be large enough to target balloons. Like, now. Now! Damn it, And then use this one as the balloons come in. And now I'm gonna have to use this. Have I just once again flubbed this map? I think I have. Because I have no way of dealing with this round, it seems. Maybe, perhaps. Nah, not even enough to get to Spectre. Really, it's the fortifieds. Granted, maybe a good idea would be... Bloons Tower Defense 6, specifically custom levels. In fact, this custom level, I can't show it off right now, but this custom level was one made by Villain_7, and it has been a very difficult one for me. In fact, I've been trying to beat this one for the past few streams. I always get to round 98, but have no way of dealing with the fortifieds. Yes. Well, the problem is the only water section is down here, which is a bit too far, and it's gyps mode, so no powers. I actually remember talking in, like, previous streams, one thing you can always do to make a level in Bloons Tower Defense harder, if you're making them, is make sure that the water monkeys, specifically Buccaneer and Sub, are limited. Either by giving them limited range and coverage, or by making sure that they are far enough away from the track. The thing with Buccaneer and Sub is that they are honestly very good towers, and just being able to take them out of the equation does make a map significantly harder. I mean, I'm fairly I mean, Destroyer, for God's sakes, just melts most maps. 5... This Crane Village. Maybe. Let's see here. Let's get it as close as possible. Let's see how far I can actually get. Get that far at least, and then... barely clips it. Who knows, maybe that clip... Oh wait! Desperado's tower ability. Which should help. Let's try speeding things up a bit. Zero 3 Bloons on Elite Sniper. The thing with Elite Sniper is that it already has... Oh. Moment of truth. Was that too soon? And why? Might have been too soon, but it does seem to be working. But not working enough. The thing with Elite Sniper up here is that... Actually, what does Middle Pass... Not you. Middle Pass Village gives... Dodge to pop all balloon types, but the problem is my Elite Sniper up here already has the ability to pop lead and camo. But, wait, but fortified... Maybe. Oh, let's try... See... Okay, let's see if I can actually get enough cash before I lose the round to... And then and here... Okay. Okay, let's try that again because I was a bit too slow on the pull. Speed it up a bit. Two, 3. Nah, that... I got even less. The thing is, all custom maps need to be beaten before they can be published, which makes me really wonder how this person beat it on chimps. I don't even know if this person had the Desperado. Maybe? No, they didn't have Desperado by this point. I'm pretty sure this map came out before Desperado. Larger caliber wouldn't really help with fortifieds. Low main could, but... And even if I put it on strong, that doesn't... That still leaves a lot of the fortifieds coming through. Actually, how? No, there's no way I have enough for a spike factory. Just for those specific is... Or just... Right, more glaives. Perhaps putting one next to a 10. Probably we want the most possible coverage. So maybe around here, because this is usually when the ceramics start getting through. 1, 2, 3... Oh, we can get 4. And then going for... 2. And then giving... And then maybe giving the boomerangs more. Will I be in range to upgrade it at any point? Okay, I gotta get ready now. out buff. Yeah, because we have enough to get Boomerang. Here. And we have enough do we have enough to get out buff? Maybe putting out buff a bit further away so it doesn't get cross-contaminated with the dark monkey down there. Due to how fast that would probably be throwing, faster throwing is the better option. And then prepare. Slow down. Let's use this one earlier. And then prepare to use now. It's working better. Nope. Ah, damn. I think this may be another one where just poor decision. Yeah, I think this is another one where just poor early decision making might have crippled it overall. Because I was honestly thinking that at Hen's level 20 plus, usually my strategy does rely heavily on Ice Monkey and Glue Gunner here because they are just such good stalling towers. They can usually stop waves in their tracks before anything slips by. Yeah, problem is, like, I do think this is good, but perhaps the main issue now, because I need these Desperados early on in order to actually get through the level. This may be yet another... I may yet have to concede once again to this, and since you are interested in trying it yourself, let's go to Home. And show off what this level is. Stonebridge BMC by Villain Number 7. Code right down here. Honestly, a really good map. I've tried it a few times, and yes, it is pretty difficult. I've been struggling with it. But also, so I just think it's one of many very well designed maps. In fact, we've actually been going through in my previous streams other maps, and even going through the level editor itself to create their own maps. Ones we've played so far, of course, Peaceful View by Zenyan, Vortex Seaside by Dank and Trans, and BMC Ways by Adamoof. All of these are great maps in their own right, and personally what I believe makes a good Bloons Tower Defense custom map is that you can kind of see it as if it were an actual map in Bloons Tower Defense. In fact, let's move on to Icy Blues here, and I'll kind of talk through what I mean by that. So Icy Blues by Ace Trainer Gabbery. Let's go to my preferred game mode, Hard and Impoppable, because personally I just really like having the option to of the monkey powers. New game. So first off, let's look at the actual design here. You may notice that a lot of the actual detail, that while there is many details on the map, most of the details are kept around the edges of the map, which is actually a common thing you see with a lot of Bloons Tower Defense maps. They always keep the details around the edges because you need to have a good view of the track, which I think is something that a lot of other custom levels kind of forget. This idea that a Bloons Tower Defense map should have... that you should basically build and accentuate the map based around... let's see here. Based around the track you make. Your details should be placed in similar... like, see how the snow is placed right here between where the loops are. The details should go around the map in order to draw the player's eyes to the track. Now this I would consider probably... Then again, I've considered maps easy before and then they absolutely kicked my ass, so who knows. But one thing I already think makes this map so much easier is look where this Buccaneer can be placed. A destroyer in this location would have so much domination on a map like this. Really, a difficulty of a map can be... you can generally gauge the difficulty of a map by the amount of times the track loops in on itself, or the amount of times it loops between towers. Like here, all of the towers can be essentially concentrated in this one section, and will be hit by your monkeys multiple times. Now personally, I'm not going to put in a destroy because I think I can handle a map like this without it, and I also just I'm on a desperado kick at the moment. But see, look how much coverage the Desperado has here. Look how much coverage Etten and the Blue Gunner have here. And the balloons will pass through this one point multiple times. Meaning you need fewer towers to actually beat the map, and you can concentrate all your damage on a singular point. Other monkeys that would probably dominate on this map are most likely the Mortar Monkey and also Tack Shooters. But again, I like to focus on bottom pass Desperado quite a bit. And a map like this where the Desperado can basically fire shotgun shells into a single point would be very good for it. Granted, Desperado does take a bit to really get wound up. In my first ever stream I had like whole rant on what I thought about the Desperado and whether or not it's a good tower or what tiers are the best for it. Personally, from what I see, middle tier is, or middle Desperado, the one with that's basically a diet sniper, is by far the best. It gives you a tower buff, it gives you a monkey money buff, or, yeah, a monkey money buff, I think. I keep forgetting if they're monkey money or banana bucks. But, regardless, where was I? I was... right. The middle pass is by far the strongest of the three paths, but bottom pass is strong in its own right, and is my personal favorite. Mainly just on, I think it's the tier 5 bottom is really cool looking. And both the middle pass and bottom pass deal with MOBAs pretty well. Which is really odd because the top pass absolutely sucks. It is a generally accepted fact at this point that the top pass is the weakest of the three paths. And it's honestly kind of paradoxical, because damn. I used that ability way too late. I should have used that 10th ability sooner. Yeah, that's the problem when it comes to doing Bloons, both trying to talk trying to talk during a stream and play Bloons. Like, as much as there are moments in Bloons where there can be a lot of dead space, where you're kind of just letting the rounds play again and again, they can really sneak up on you if you're not paying attention. And let's get back to the original point. So top pass, paradoxical. Top pass whole thing is attack speed, which in my opinion would have made it a really good swarm-based tower. Basically, I believe that the top pass should have been the Bloons, the Desperados, and Certa swarms, because attack speed would be very useful in that instance. However, the top pass, specifically, focuses on single target damage and actually becomes weaker the more balloons there are. So it's a tower where the top pass is a tower that you want to have somewhere on the edge where A, balloons will always be furthest from it, and B, there will always be the fewest number of balloons. Thing is, it seems that by its design, that specifically its standoff design. It was designed to deal with MOBAs. It was designed to deal with MOBAs. However, because you want as few balloons, considering how often you just get massive swarms and hordes of balloons, that top pass ability doesn't actually come up that often. Meaning, it's most optimal at the end of the track, where there are physically fewer balloons that it could come across. Meanwhile, the middle and bottom pass, the middle pass can one-shot DDTs at full power, and the bottom pass can two-shot your standard Moabs, again at full power, whereas the top pass struggles to keep up. Okay, was this? Yes. Wait, was this the round I lost at? Might not have been this round, I might have flubbed it again. You know, maybe that destroyer would have been a good idea instead of arrogantly going for my Desperado once again. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. No, it's not fine. It's not fine at all. Crap. Okay, this should take care of this round. Etten should be able to take care of camos, meaning I should probably reorganize Monkey Buck, or change direction for Monkey Buccaneer to take care of leads in the future. Sorry for the sudden silence. Here we go. Honestly, a lot of Desperado's abilities kind of are paradoxical of each other. Like, I mean, someone did find that Standoff and Wanderer, or Standoff and Nomad here, kind of cancel each other out, because Standoff will mean your monkey's attacking faster regardless of how few balloons are in range, whereas Nomad means that your monkey will be attacking faster no matter how many balloons are in range. That's still like a very bad combination. Compared to Eagle Eye, which, you know, crits. They're not... Well, Eagle Eye gives camo detection, but then Bullseye gives crits. It's where Destroyers... or Monkey Buccaneers is probably like one of the best towers in the game. I still stand by that very strongly. The only thing limiting Destroyer is the fact that it's waterlocked, and there are ways to get around it, like a top pass Mer Monkey allows you to place water towers around it. So that's one way to actually be able to get a Destroyer out, regardless of how many... Regardless of water placement. Oh my god. I could have used a Mer Monkey top pass means I could place a destroyer near the front. Another time, Clockwork, another time. Anyways, we should be getting that destroyer up and running very soon though. You know, I do think that the... Well, I say that the map editor is underrated, but I can kind of see why it doesn't get more attention in the Bloons sphere. Because a lot of the Bloons custom maps... I don't want to say that they're bad, but a lot of them are seen as a joke, or oftentimes are treated as a joke. You see maps that are designed to basically have a power trip with one specific tower, or maps that are basically art pieces or memes. And those are good maps. Like the jokes can be funny and the art can be phenomenal. I saw a Bloons Tower Defense map, or custom map, that is literally a real-life Japanese painting. And it is amazing that they were able to do it. But what irks me is that, like, you wouldn't ever expect that to be an actual Bloons map. I like custom maps that look like you could see them in Bloons. I believe this is a map that could plausibly be added into Bloons proper. And another thing that custom maps tend to get, again, I don't want to say get wrong, but tend to struggle with, is that they often add too much detail or aren't really clear in general. A lot of visual clutter that draws the viewer's attention away from the track, which the track should always be the focus, as well as even like covering up the track in some ways. Alright, I can get Enforcer. I feel this Lone Destroyer can pretty much hold things down, for the most part. Yeah, I could buff it up with a village, but I'd much rather spend that village money on a tried and true, well, I say tried and true, but my usual fallback, my infinite go-to of Glue Gunner Ice Monkey. Although I may also want to put like an Alk. I don't know, I just really like my Desperados. Then again, that might just be because it's a new tower on the block. I remember when Mermonkey came out, I was like obsessed with finding out every single Mermonkey strategy I could use. And now that Desperado is the shiny new tower, it's like that bloody Woody being like, I don't want to play with you anymore, just dropping the Mermonkey. Then again, chances are like top, because that was actually another strategy when Mermonkey came out. It was to give your aircraft carrier the top pass Mermonkey piercing buff, because that buff would transfer to all of your mini drones, the mini planes that the carrier has. So Mermonkey Top Pass is a great thing to pair with, oh cool, how's it going? Or what you use as an opening. I remember the first time I tried that, I actually tried to use Soda. But, I don't know, Soda didn't work. I thought just chaining the hero would be enough of a solution, but not really. I mean, Soda can carry the... Oh, really? What was your tower opening? Oh, you went... You went with bottom pass first. I mean, that definitely makes sense. I usually go with middle pass first when it comes to Sniper Monkeys just to get coverage. And again, Shrapnel Shot gets a lot of more coverage than you'd think, or than I think. Avenger. So your plan is to gun it for Glaive Lord. Wait, what hero are you using? Oh, Etten? Yeah, honestly, Etten's probably like of the different. Oh, actually, I want to say that my favorite is not. Well, actually, yeah, Churchill. Churchill because I just love tanks. But honestly, I think my actual favorite and go-to is always Etten. Sada's nice because it can carry the early game, and Benjamin is great for the money. But I don't know, Etten's full. Like, Etten's drone's ability to cover a large area and the universal camo it gives are just so useful. Not to mention the bloody bomber plane it gets you. The smart move here would be to go for aircraft carrier. But I mean, this isn't that hard of a map. Like I said, Destroyer's got a good amount of coverage. It loops in on itself multiple times. I think I can go with, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Then again, it was very much broke on that last map I tried, but hey, details. Let's see here. And that actually gets us. I had enough to get. We should be able to get MOBA glue fairly well. And then once Glue Gunner and Ice Monkey are up and running, we'll just lock everything in place. You know, maybe I get too attached to my balloon strategies. Oh, round 80. Still going strong with or have you gotten a Glavior Lord yet? Admittedly, I can never remember like the specifics of balloons, or at least when you get enough money to buy certain towers. I know some people out there are able to like identify the exact amount of money they're gonna make every single round, and then plan the exact towers they're gonna buy at the exact time. Relentless glue. I don't know, I find that crazy, but also impressive that you have that kind of memory, or that people have that kind of memory. Couldn't be me, though. I mean, when you really boil it down, this is gonna be an odd comparison, but in a way, Bloons tower defense is almost like chess. Hear me out. In chess, you have a set number of pieces, each with a set number of moves, and both players at all times know exactly what pieces are on the board, where those pieces are, and what moves those pieces can make. It's why some chess masters are able to predict a loss or victory 10 to even 20 turns before it would actually occur. Like, maybe an exaggeration, but point still stands. Bloons, it's almost in a way similar, wherein in Bloons, you know what balloons are coming, when they'll come, how much money you'll get from those balloons, what towers you have access to, and all the towers and their upgrades and their placements. There is nothing in Bloons that is hidden from you, nor is there very much RNG associated with Bloons. In theory, if a chess master, or someone who plays Bloons Tower Defense and has the IQ level of a chess master, can predict the exact winning strategy for any Bloons map. Again, in theory, but it is still a strong possibility that someone out there has reached that level of Bloons Tower Defense understanding, wherein they can predict anything. Honestly, that makes me curious in the Bloons Tower Defense competitive game that was out. Do you think that's almost like chess? I mean, you know what pieces your opponent has, but you never know what specific move they're gonna make. Kind of like chess. In fact, in theory, a person playing that competitive game can determine whether or not their opponent will win or lose, or if they will win or lose, depending on the towers they place. Although I think the main issue with this theory of mine is that chess has, compared to Bloons, chess has much fewer options, much more limited. So it's much easier to predict chess moves than it is to predict the exact placement of Bloons towers. I wonder if a machine could actually pull that off. Nah, no, maybe. You would imagine feeding Bloons tower defense strategies into a machine. Round knight. Oh, getting close. What's the setup looking like currently? Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call myself the best Bloons tower defense player. I mean, I know some of the go-to or winning strategies, or at least the most popular strategies that people will use on certain maps, but I don't really theory craft that much. And even though I know the quote-unquote winning strategies, I'll usually still end up falling back into the same strategies I always use, or my same favorite towers. But hey, honestly, the main reason why I started doing these custom maps in the first place was for moments like this. Main DPS is basically the Glaive Lord and the Elite Sniper with buffs, and I have a 2-5 Glue Gunner with a 0-2-5 Boomerang for slow. Pretty good. I'll typically go with Corrosive Glue and Relentless Glue, relying on an out buff and primary mentoring to really boost up its Pierce. Granted, it's a much higher cash range, but I find that what was its first ability called? The Glue Soak ability can be really good when paired with Relentless Glue. In fact, I actually got that idea was kind of like an Evolve Force, because before I was a Desperado fan, before I was a Mermonkey fan, I was a Top Pass Glue Gunner fan. And in a video I saw discussing the Top Pass Glue Gunner, it said that it is better to pair Top Pass Glue Gunner or go with a 5-0-2 Glue Gunner and then just buff it up with a Top Pass Monkey Village and an Alchemist, because that'll get you just as much, if not more, piercing than what Middle Pass can give you. All while also giving you slow, which helps you deal more damage with Top Pass over time. Do I save up for Desert Phantom? I think I save up for Desert Phantom. No, wait. Save up for Icicle Impale. Icicle Impale would be the better option. And also, as I was saying, I'm honestly glad this happened, because the main reason why I wanted to do Bloons Tower Defense custom maps was to show off, yes, best of luck to you. You'll probably do much better than I did with your setup. But the main reason why I started doing these streams on Bloons Tower Defense custom maps is because I feel like there are a lot of good custom maps on the level editor. But they often get overshadowed by the meme maps or the art-based maps. You know, maps that are more about their visual aesthetic than necessarily being in line with the Bloons tower defense aesthetic. So I wanted to show off these kinds of custom maps that look like Ninja Kiwi could actually add them into the game someday. And also talk about, like, oh, around 100. Okay, so Stall, Blade Fort, and Elite Sniper. So yeah, I'm honestly glad that you're here and deciding to check out that custom map to see if you can beat me in it, which you clearly have. Yeah, I really do sleep. Nice! Well, I'm glad I could show you yet another Bloons Tower Defense custom map. And again, I would honestly recommend to anyone who ever gets to this point of the stream and hears this, go through the custom maps on the level editor, see what people are making beyond just the most liked. There can be some really cool maps out there. And I do hope that I can continue playing these custom maps and showing them off, because really, I don't see many other people showing off custom maps in the Bloons YouTube sphere. So, as I say this, admittedly I was actually planning on the next stream to be about, what was it? Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, because Garden Warfare is actually another game that I've really been considering playing on this, I guess you could say, on this channel. It's certainly a game that I've wanted to play more of for a while now. I think Desert Phantom will be the next one. Where was I? Right. I was honestly planning for the next stream to be about Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. Mainly because, I mean, unfortunately something, as much as I love Bloons and I love showing off these custom levels, Bloons really works for content when I have something to constantly talk about, and unfortunately I'm not that talkative a person. I know, hard to believe. But who knows? I still plan on showing off custom levels and working in the level editor. Ha. Happens to the best. But maybe next stream will be like a dual stream. Some Bloons and some Garden Warfare. Or maybe I'll just play Bloons again, who knows. Oh. And I did also genuinely like talking. Always good to look around. Who knows what you'll find if you do that. I mean, well, I've found great maps like this one. I am horrible with names, but the one made by Villains 7 that I was just struggling with and that you've just beat. And well, I'm glad. Well, I'd like to thank you for checking me out here. I actually honestly started doing this thing because I've taken classes on level design. Well, in my intro I always say that I'm a full-time villain and game design student. there is very much a difference between learning something and doing something, but hey, get your education. When I initially came up with this, I actually wanted to like critique more, or do more of like critiques of various custom maps. But when you boil it down, there's not much you can say without repeating yourself every single map. And Desert Phantom. Because here are what I think, here are a few fundamentals that I believe are make a good Bloons Tower Defense map, mostly from observing what Ninja Kiwi themselves have made. The first one is the one I can't stress enough and have stressed consistently throughout my streams. The track is your focus. You want your elements to bend around the track. Or at least have all of your design elements focused on the corners of the map like it is here. Because once you start blocking up the track, then it becomes visually cluttered. And it confuses the player, not necessarily in what you typically think of confusing, but it definitely takes the player's attention away from the track itself, which you don't want to have in a Bloons map. The other thing is more so depending on whether you want to make it hard or not, which is that I say the Monkey Sub and the Monkey Buccaneer are the two most oppressive towers in the game, limited only by water placement. So, being able to move a Buccaneer out of the way and away from a trap, or at least moving a Buccaneer to a point where it won't have such an oppressive angle over a map, is a great way to make it more difficult. In fact, line of sight is something that you can use to make any map more difficult. And I'll show, after I beat around 100 here, I'll show off a map I created based off another map that someone else made and that I played. So let's speed things up here, because I think this is pretty secure. Maybe getting Alk buff on these three here. Getting Alk buff on these three here. Don't want to get a destroyer. Get it in destroyer range. Oh yeah, Sun God. I honestly completely forgot about Sun God because... Which is odd, because I remember when in the early games, when I first started playing Bloons, before all those other towers, my main tower, the one I would always go for, is Super Monkey. I would go for Super Monkey top pass every single time, because it just oozes power, at least visually. Problem is, never, since I was just starting out, I didn't really know about how the sacrificing worked. So I kept making underpowered sun gods. Granted, I still beat most of the levels with sun gods, but I mean, I could have played better. I definitely could have played better. And yeah. Another actually oppressive tower that works on basically any map is Spike Factory. Honestly, I'd say, well, all of Spike Factory. All Spike Factory paths are good, but really top pass and bottom pass are the stars. Because top pass does so much damage and pairs well with bottom pass. Basically, you can turn top pass into just a regular tower. Favorite tower is the Wizard. Oh yeah, Wizard is a good tower, especially Necromancer. Like, you can't go wrong with a Necromancer. And Arcane Mage's like MOBA dealing ability to deal with MOBA is pretty good if you can get it out front. I don't see much of the fire paths like represented. What's your favorite path of the Wizard? we go with here? You say this pretty strong. I haven't lost my strategies. Top pass. Great choice. But again, all of them are solid choices. It's with... Pardon me. All of them are solid choices. It's Wizard Monkey. Hey, sometimes your tower doesn't need to be strong. It just needs to work. And might as well get an aircraft carrier by this point. I know that typically the form is to buff aircraft carrier with village, but I always preferred to buff aircraft carrier with Mer Monkey for the piercing. And again, I guess you could do both buffs. I'm definitely making the money for it. In fact, I might not even need to necessarily put... Wait, hold on, am I... Okay, I thought I was packed there. In fact, I can actually get piercing on a lot of my guys here. Sniper spam. Yeah, that... Well, snipers are solid, but they can be really map dependent. Like, maps with almost no visibility or a lot of dark blockers, you never want to go with sniper. Okay, time to hit all the buttons. Lord of the Abyss, go! Ah, crap. Okay, we made it. And gonna like and go home. And that was Icy Blues by Ace Trainer Gabri. Now to kind of talk about that, to go over that map I was talking about. I think it was definitely the first stream I did Vortex Seaside here, which I thought was a really cool map, but you know, like, you notice how it kind of has some of the things I pointed out that make a map really easy. It has multiple points where the balloons cross over. Oh, middle tier past 5 tier of the Alchemist. Have you... middle pass. That was the Berserk. No, actually, I don't think I've ever gone middle pass Alchemist. Maybe I tried it out once, but I don't know, it never really impressed me, and top path always seemed like the better option as a support tower. Where was I? Right. So, as you can see with this map, you have a lot of points where the maps... I'll definitely try it out then, but I hate being sidetracked. You have a lot of points here where the maps overlap, and at first I thought it was like this top pass snakes around here, but in actuality, it loops. In fact, I think both areas loop. Huh, sandbox. Definitely gonna give it a shot. But the path loops a lot here, basically as a figure 8. So not only does it take a long time for the balloons to actually get to the end of the track, but there's a lot of points where the track merges, and in fact both paths merge on this area, right here. And when I originally played, I could put a Buccaneer right here, and it would have so much coverage and domination of the map, because this map basically had very little line of sight blockers. However, I really just like the pathing shape of this map, and ended up creating my own sort of version of it called Twisting Canyon, which I did credit inspired by Dank M Trans. As you can see here, I limited a lot more of the view, and I also limited a lot more tower placement. Granted, it's still not that difficult of a map. Yeah. Granted, this is still not that difficult of a map because it still follows a lot of the same problems that the other map previously had. It crosses over here and here, meaning you could be very oppressive in these two locations. In fact, a top-half dart monkey down here absolutely destroys. Whereas, while I did remove the option for water monkeys, it also still collides in this pass, meaning tack shooters can dominate in these areas. In fact, let me hold up. Also, these are like the other maps I've made over the time. I believe I've shown these maps in like my first ever stream, and then these two I made on stream. In fact, I made this map the last stream, and I forgot to name it. Oh, that is going to annoy me for the rest of my life. I forgot to properly name this. Yeah, I know the thing is, I don't want to like be treading old ground, because I already spent so much of the last few streams on these two maps, to be honest. And I don't want it, and like I said, I don't want this whole thing to just be me showing off the maps I've made. But that was not the right button. To be just me showing off the maps I've made, though you're welcome to try out those maps. Again, these are their names. But I want to I keep hitting that button. I want to focus more on the maps that other people have made. And going down the... Hey, take your time. It's not like it's matched or anything. And now let's go down to see what else. Actually, since you're here in the stream, of these 4 next maps, which one would you be interested in seeing? Actually, how much time do I have? Oh, I'm only at the 2-hour mark. So yeah, what map you want to check out? I should have a scrolling bar. Well, I have more, but there's also Flying Hedges, Borderlands Park, and then these ones, Overgrown City and Town, Winding River. Granted, these ones are a bit, what I consider overly detailed in some instances, but they're still very nice looking maps. Bottom left. Overgrown City, you mean? No, wait, that's bottom right. Town, you mean? Oh, Flowering Hedges. Oh, right. Massive stream delay. Hard standard. Let's go to hard improbable, because in the words of a movie whose name I forget, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. If you can beat it on impossible, or chimps, you can beat it on any mode. And if you let so much as one balloon skip by, well, you might as well restart anyways. Still using Etten here. In fact, Etten might be really good. Let's see what coverage we can get. Yeah, that looks perfect. Honestly, this might not be a good pass for Glue Gunner or Sniper, or not Glue Gunner. Might not be a good pass for Glue Gunner Ice Monkey because of how much limited visibility there is. Now what would actually be a good place to put the Glue Gunner? Perhaps here. Actually, this is not enough room to place here. So at the same time, like, Tried and True Desperado wouldn't be a good idea either. Oh, actually, this might be a perfect place for Top Pass. So let's put this here in order to make sure it bounces around as much as possible. And I completely messed. I don't know why, I was just automatically assuming... Ha. Okay, that changes things. I mean, definitely still Etten being pretty strong here. In fact, Etten will probably be able to get a tower to cover most of it. And then place a Dart Monkey here for coverage and looping. And now we go. Now this will be an interesting one because while there are plenty of areas where the map technically overlaps, these hedges that block line of sight limit the ability of darts to actually make use of those loops, or those overlaps. However, it is still a pretty long map. Above? Oh, you... It would bounce... Nah, cause see... Well, It would lock on down here, loop around there. Yeah, but not... That's not... Well, we shall see. We shall see. Oh. Yeah, okay, you were completely right, because you always gotta be careful of that hitbox. It just barely clips. I mean, then again, there's nothing saying I can't have two. In fact, having two might be a good idea. Maybe having it up here so it can easily shoot downwards. Just have as many spike balls bouncing around the map as possible at all times. And since these things can... Yeah, Juggernaut pops lead. Oh. Okay, Etten will have plenty of time to get to camo before they become a problem. And then to deal with... What would be the best option for dealing with lead here? I mean, technically Juggernaut can deal with lead. Question is that necessarily a good way of dealing with lead? Wait again? Nah, where's a shot? Well, actually, a Glaive Lord maybe here. That would deal with lead. Yeah, I mean, we still have plenty of time before the leads actually come up and become a problem. So I think, yeah, I can wait to get Juggernaut. That shouldn't be an issue. Then again, something I saw the Dark Monkey turn. Yeah, I don't think risking. Oh, can I get? I can. Ah, crap. What do I prioritize? Prioritize glaives first. Prioritize glaives. No. Prioritize. Oh, I can. Okay, I can get them both. Never mind. And I should get Ricochet Glaives really easily. And then more glaives will probably be better than Juggernaut here. But can my menagerie of primaries deal with a Moab? Okay, glaive could probably deal with a Moab, to be honest. Holy shit! Huh. You think I should go Jug? Yeah. Let's go... I think Jug on this one first would make more sense. Since it has like just a better angle at the beginning. And I've already got Glaive Lord, or more Glaive here, taking care of the early game. Honestly, It makes me wonder how much piercing this thing can get if I were to buff it up with a Mer Monkey. Like, I can... What if I just super buff? I'll get Juggernaut on this one next, but then I'll invest in just super buffing Boomerang here. Oh wait, no, okay, with a bit over the... Now it's more glaives I got next. Okay. I'm sure it's fine. We already got one Juggernaut, I'm sure this'll do... Buffing up glaive will be just fine. Okay, don't want... to... We want our alchemist to be in a position where... it can still, like, lob potions. Actually, that area big enough for... Let's see if it's big enough for a village. Can a village fit here? Nah, a village can't fit here. And now it has camo detection. Gonna be a while before I can get to a 37, so might as well invest. Ah, Christ. Sorry, spaced out for a bit. They are just thinking of what best pass to go with, or just waiting for outbuff to there. Actually, putting a village could possibly fit here. And that would mean I can buff... That would mean I can buff this one as well. Oh. There we go. I think this is a very lovely looking map. The placement of different colored flowers and how the flowers are placed around the track itself to, again, accentuate the curves. Like, especially this brilliant use of hedges to go around the track, because they don't just... God damn. The thing with these hedges is that they don't just act as a functional aspect, you know, blocking line of sight, but also they act as just a way to further guide the viewer's eyes around the track. And now let's get that Pierce up with Mer Monkey. Yeah, Alchemist is now kind of splitting between the two, but I don't think it'll be that much of an issue. Oh, I mean, we're not covering that much considering how the line of sight works on this map, but I doubt that'll be too much of an issue. Okay, I have really been sleeping on Boomerang Monkey. I don't know why, but I just like passively forget Boomerang Monkey is a thing. All the piercing power. And let's just get you just because I think at this point it should be easy to just save up for Glaive Lord. Yeah, I don't know why, but I just keep forgetting about it. Oh, okay, I don't completely forget about it. Like, I think I had a small stint where I would always include the bottom pass just because I thought it tier 4 looked cool. I know, I really like the Aussie look, or the Outback look. That and its whole thing with stalling really fit my strategy at the time of just stacking a bunch of stalling towers on top of each other. I'd usually pair it with Glue Gunner and Ice Monkey just to stall more. And now it is just absolutely shredding. Behold, the game on easy mode. Just place down a boomerang. Oh yeah, Helly's bottom path? Yeah, it was the bottom path. I remember that there was a small stint where I was just running all stalling monkeys. Like, I had Glue Gunner, Ice Monkey, bottom path Heli, bottom path Boomerang, and I would just stall Bloons to a standstill. In fact, I remember this one time on the spawn map, I had a maxed out bottom pass Ice Monkey and Glue Gunner, but the problem was that it was during the, what are they called? Heart Balloon Rush near the end of the round counter. And what ended up happening is that I basically completely stalled the balloons at the very beginning of the track. The problem was, since they stalled at the very beginning of the track, none of my other monkeys actually... Oh yeah, middle pass. But the problem was none of my other monkeys actually ever got in range of those balloons because the balloons were stuck at the very beginning, meaning the only monkey that could really hit them was my Glue Gunner. But since they were regenerating balloons, and there were so many of them, they regenerated faster than my Glue Gunner could actually deal with them, because it had top pass on it. So I was just stuck on that on that round for like half an hour, as the heart balloons kept trying to filter in and regenerating, while my Glue Gunner ever so slowly stopped them. It was awful. I ended up having to sell my Glue Gunner just so I could let the balloons pass to get past that round. Yeah. My own hubris was my undoing. How much? The hubris of man. Yeah, we should be getting Glaive Lord fairly soon here. Hey, let's just play it safe with this one. $7,000 to go. I'll admit, I never really used the ninja monkeys that much. I think I tried the strategy of top pass ninja surrounded by middle pass ninja? Or was it surrounded by bottom pass ninja? Hold on, let me check. Yeah, it was top pass surrounded by middle pass. Like, I used that strategy a few times. Any second. Any second now. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is what I mean when there's a lot of downtime between rounds. Almost got it. Now I got it. And with that, we have officially beaten the game. Yep. This is what it looks like to win Bloons Tower Defense. I remember seeing, like, I have a friend who likes to use middle pass? Yeah, middle pass Ice Monkey a lot. And middle pass Ice Monkey is pretty good, all things considered. In fact, oh wait, it's funny to think now that Ice Monkey can now be a water tower. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it, and even like middle pass Ice Monkey had the ability to place towers on water. Now the question becomes, what do we get next? I mean, I guess quick shots just because we already have camo detection. Juggernaut, why not? The thing, Ultra Juggernaut, it's pretty interesting, especially on these maps, but with level edit, I mean, still, like, once you get to a certain point with some towers, you basically just win the game. Kind of like I was talking about earlier. Once you get a certain strategy, established, you basically win the game. Or the game becomes so predictable that you don't really have to do much else. I like to just continue buying towers as they come in regardless, mostly just to fill time. Sorry, I had to take a sip of coffee there. Most streamers have water. I have coffee. Oh, actually I have a glass of coffee, or not. I have a cup of water, like, right next to my coffee. So, yeah. I feel like there was something I was about to say beforehand. Right. Ultra Juggernaut. Cool tower, interesting ability. It's really fun to use. But especially on maps, on custom maps, it can be so janky because of its hitbox. Like, I remember on that custom map that I made, I thought that top pass would go really hard. The problem was that there was so little space that the Juggernaut projectile actually went through the barriers, because at no singular point did it actually end up colliding, because at every turn... Really? What would you recommend? Because, unlike before, I have the ability to sell. What do you recommend from this station? Yeah, we got plenty of time before round 98 to be honest, so I can build up a lot of cash for anything. Yeah, that's probably the smart move to make. I think we can hold down fairly well for here. Oh, I never got top path loaded, I don't need it. You know, one thing I was actually planning on talking about today before I started rambling on about all sorts of stuff about balloons. There's a lot going on. I say a lot going on in the VTuber sphere, but well, new VTubers are debuting. I remember one thing that a lot of people were looking forward to was Saba. I hope that fish does well. In fact, I'm pretty sure that fish is gonna do well, all things considered. I mean, I don't know what their secret was to being able to get such a massive following immediately. Truly a mystery. It was almost like they had a audience beforehand. But really, I do hope the best for Saba and all her friends. It's good to see that that everyone's still kicking and doing work. But it is like a weird thing to think about, because also, PewDiePie no longer being in the top 10. Damn, that's something to think about. It makes sense, like, the man retired from YouTube and made it a hobby ages ago. And it really makes you think on, like, fame doesn't last forever, you know? Eventually all our favorite YouTubers they're gonna have to quit someday. For one reason or another. Holy I just saw what my Ultra Juggernaut was doing. Yeah, but hey, that's what folks like I am here for. The next generation to build their YouTube content minds. Granted, there's thousands upon thousands of people like me, all trying to get a piece of that YouTube pie. Well, I honestly don't think I even want to be big. Seems too stressful, you know? I mean, a lot of what I'm doing now is mostly just trying to get used to it. I enjoy streaming, I enjoy being able to just ramble on about this or that while playing my favorite games. Ah, son of a bitch. Great, my alchemist is now buffing the start monkey. Now, okay, I definitely need to get faster throwing just so I can distribute stuff more. Yeah. Making it big online, honestly, seems like more trouble than it's worth sometimes. I want to create, I want to show off my creations. I want to do something, but what costs? What costs indeed. Yeah, I should have expected that. Oh, I can buy my expertise. Oh wait, no, it's not 98 yet. We live. I remember, I used to absolutely hate DDTs. Because they were basically a representation of what I thought was poor game design at the time, which was things that cannot be interacted with. Because DDTs, as being lead camos, meant that you needed to have a specific type of monkey, one that could pop lead and camo, to deal with them. Now granted, I was a bit salty and thought, oh, these are poor game design, you can't interact with them, but the truth is you can interact with them. It's all about in how you build your towers, obviously. Like here, now I have a tower that can pop lead and camo as well as everything else. Now that is something you always want to necessarily avoid in game design. Moments where a player feels like they can't do anything. Because games I mean, unless there's a big story reason for it. Pardon. Unless there's a story reason or mechanical reason for it, generally there's no better way to annoy a player than to make them feel like they can't do anything or just watching a cutscene. It's why the dreaded long hallway of exposition is so hated. It's because it's just a player sitting there watching the gameplay itself, or basically being set on a clearly linear path. For a brief time I talked about another game on I think stream 2 and stream 3, Dead by Daylight, where I pointed out or noticed that so basically Dead by Daylight there is a killer and survivor side. The killer's goal is to kill the survivors by placing them on a hook and sacrificing them to some great eldritch entity. The survivor's goal is to power on 5 generators to open the exit gates to then escape. But what I focused on particularly was the fact that there are 3 stages a survivor can be in. Do we die here? I don't think... Okay, I panic pressed. Okay, I think we're good. We're on 95. What was I doing? Right. There are 3 stages back to back where a survivor can't really do anything. The down state, where a survivor is hit twice and then it has to crawl on the ground because they are too injured. The picked up state, where the killer picks up the survivor and carries them around. And the hook state, where the survivor is stuck on hook waiting to be rescued. Or stuck on a hook waiting to be rescued, grammatically speaking. And in all 3 stages, the most a survivor can do is play a little quick time event, and that's it. Like, it is 3 stages back to back between getting knocked down, to getting picked up, to being placed on hook, where the survivor has nothing they can do except kind of wait around for someone else to save them with... yeah. All they can do is wait around for someone else to save them. Which I feel is a major reason why aspect of the game kind of being very divisive, or why there's such a divide between killers and survivors. Granted, there's also a myriad of other reasons. Balancing, possible bias from the dev team, though that's never confirmed. The idea of it being survivor-sided or killer-sided, really there's a massive amount of tribalism created by asymmetrical horror. But that's neither here nor there, nor is Dead by Daylight a game I ever intend to play on stream. Dead by Daylight is one of those games that it's fun to watch, horrible to play, you know? It's like League. You like to watch it. You like to learn about the different characters and strategies and like all the analysis and details and whatnot. But then you actually play the game and you realize it's not for you. There's probably a bunch of games you can probably classify that as. In fact, for anyone down in the comments or for you watching the stream right now, or well, any of you watching the stream right now, what games would you say fall into that category of fun to watch, horrible to play? Oh, hold on. Oh crap! This is. What do I do here? I mean, can I? I have the guy. Yeah, but there's not enough space. No, wait, Lord of the Abyss gives that. Decisions. Ah, yes, shoot. There's fun action-packed to play. Yeah. Although really, Among Us, is that because Among Us is annoying to play, or do you feel Among Us is boring to play? And to also go back and talk about shooters, I definitely see that, because shooters are just... I honestly feel that with shooters. Shooters, I want to like shooters. I find shooters to be so interesting, so fun to watch. But as someone who can't aim for the life of them and doesn't play shooters consistently enough to really get good, like people always suggest, I constantly struggle to actually play a shooter. Granted, I do enjoy playing Garden Warfare, because that's, honestly, if you want to play a shooter, Garden Warfare 2 still has an active community, and is a fun shooter to play, because it is so stupid. Can you please go a top pass tack shooter? Really? I see the vision, but I don't think I don't think I've ever seen someone genuinely recommend a top pass tack shooter. Can I get it? Can I get it far? Oh wait, oh. Nah, that is not nearly enough coverage. But here, I think I don't think I've ever seen someone advocate for top pass pack shooter, because nah. Because the general consensus I've always seen is that top pass tack shooter is the worst tack shooter pass, which is surprising considering there's middle pass tack shooter. Let's see here. What were they talking about? Right, Garden Warfare 2. If you hate shooters but want to play a shooter game, I would suggest Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. It still has an active community, a few cheaters if you're on PC, but they're rare enough. And the main reason why is because it is so goofy that you never really feel bad if you suck. Because it feels like a game. Yeah, look at it. Top pass. Okay, this is an example of top pass being good, yeah. Because it is an example of a game that is just... because it is so goofy and stupid, visually and conceptually, that you can't take it seriously, so you don't take it as hard when you lose. In fact, chances are next stream will be... Oh, that's not the right button! Okay, we're good. We're still good. We're not good? We're good. I was hoping I could get primary expertise by this point. Nah, can't even get Lord of the Abyss. You know what? I think we're solid still. Let's use it early. We want to get that MOBA down as soon as possible. It's in Etten's range. Yeah. Honestly, I do like the top path. It's kind of like my opinion on Desperado bottom pass, where I know it probably isn't the best choice, but it looks so cool, I go with it every time. Pop check on Glaive. Oh, we're in the 1000s here. Not 1,000, 1 millions. Pretty good. Actually, let's see. Etten, Dart Monkey. Wow, Okay, let's review the map. Yeah. Boomerang Monkey, MVP. Yeah. So, going back, and let's go to home, and that was Flowering Hedges by Fluffy Sketches. Now then, we've got a lot. Yeah, honestly, I should probably be using it so much more. What hour mark are we on? Almost at the 3 hour. Almost at the 3 hour mark. We're on a roll, and it's still, well, maybe not a lot to talk about, but definitely what map should we go for next? We've done Flowering Hedges, and we got these other ones down here. We got Borderlands Tower Battles, Town, Wind River, Overgrown City. We've got Kellen Kitty's map up here. Azul ability on round 100. That's the wizard. Admittedly, I don't use the wizard hero that much. I have her, I got her. But I don't know, I always just found the others a bit better there. We also got Crazy River, Dolly's. Why not just check it out in the next map we play? Next map, I'm switching to Azil. So we also got Crazy River, Dolly's Metal, Dust Bowl, Prehistoric. If you're interested in hard maps, in the first stream, Prehistoric Rift was one I played, actually. It's a pretty, like, it is beautiful visually, and pretty difficult because its path is split between a top and bottom area. So I'd say it's very cool. Dockside, Jan, number list map. Big City, Solo's 100. Huh. But yeah, I'm just scrolling down here a bit. So for anyone in chat, if you see I'll be scrolling back and forth for a while, but first one to name a map they like, I'll do. I really wish there was a scroll wheel. And I also bring back Garden Warfare 2, because that'll probably be what the next game is. Or at least I was thinking of doing Garden Warfare 2 for the next stream. And just showing it off. Hello, Dust Bowl. First one is Dust Bowl. Now with Garden Warfare 2, admittedly there are some aspects... Oh, easy standard? No way. Impoppable. Always good. Oh wait, hold on. Why do I have a feeling... Okay, let's see what this is like. So, Dust Bowl by Crazy Ken. Some things to know... Yep. Oh wait, Oh, there's 3. Oh, there are... Wait a second, why... Oh, that is evil. That is evil. If they go directly here... I forgot to switch heroes too. Let me do that real quick, because I said I would do a Zeal for the next one. Okay. What is the winning... Not winning strategy, but what is the strategy here? I got a free Dart Monkey. So maybe it'd be a good idea to place... Let's see what the... Actually, let's see what the sightlines are. Huh, sightlines are very generous. These don't block sightlines. Meaning a Dart Monkey... Or, not Dart Monkey, but a Sniper Monkey seems like the best first choice. Pardon me. The questions and we have a free Dart Monkey, so it'd probably be best to utilize it. Since these don't block line of sight, that means top path won't be good here because it won't be bouncing around enough. Glue Gunner, I don't think Glue Gunner is the play here. Then again, I guess... I think we may need to just start out with a Sniper Monkey and see how this first round goes, just to see what direction balloons come from, the direction they go in. Oh, that is... Okay. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, I still think Sniper Monkey's the play here. So... Okay, I will say that is a bit of a peeve. Look at how these tracks are arranged. Immediately, it suggests that the tracks are where the balloons will pass. However, it breaks this rule twice. Because it has this area, no track, and it goes here. But you can generally get an understanding, okay, balloons go up around there. Fairly simple. But then you have up here. You would think that it follows the track downward, but no, it goes across the track, into the house, and down. But nothing really is there to convey this. So, what I would have thought would be better is either having the track actually go into the house, or maybe having, because it seems like this is supposed to represent the track's blockage, so maybe having a rock here so the track is blocked off, and then having some kind of line of pebbles or something going from, basically going from the track down into the house, and then having a track down here in order to just visually match this track. We probably want to have, I think a dart monkey up here would be the best play. That way the bottom path can take care of, just take care of the things over here. And then we should have plenty of time to save up for the wizard hero. Nope. We're gonna need more. So probably gonna need something like, actually, Desperado can get a lot of coverage. I don't think Desperado would be the play here. Maybe Sniper Monkey's not even the play. Then again, not many other options in military. And Sniper Monkey would get so much coverage. It does feel like I need to have some monkey here as insurance. So maybe another dart monkey down there. No. Oh! Right! I completely forgot about that. Question is, where do I... If I start with her, then she would need to be at the back because this is where all of them intersect. I think need to be placed around here, that way you can hit both sides. Ah, wait, but I still have the free one. I probably need to put the free monkey up here because it's so far away. Nope. Okay, so maybe putting her down... Putting Azazel here to hit both paths, and then the dark monkey up here to hit them. Ha. Damn. Maybe I just need 3 dart monkeys. Can I place it? Like, especially here, having a visible track. Having a visible track would help so much. 4 dart monkeys it is. 4 dart monkeys. Having a visible track would help so much for clarity down here. Four dart monkeys and a sniper. Because I think Would bouncing... Would bouncing bullet work here? I think bouncing bullet would work best here. Right. Now that should hopefully be where the greens should hopefully be where Full Metal Jacket will come in, if I can get the Full Metal Jacket. Let's speed it up a bit. Honestly, having Sniper, getting Sniper to Full Metal Jacket, and having it set to Strong. Actually, just having it set to Strong to begin with might be the solution. Might be good here. Have a sort of support for the Dart Monkeys. First, okay, never mind. Now we set it to Strong. Ah, right, I would've... Sorry, chat delay between when I see it and when you do. Quick, go to first. First, Okay, we're developing a winning strategy here, slowly but surely. So place. So 4 Dart Monkeys. Then Sniper, and then Hero. Granted, a little thing with these maps. It doesn't matter what mode you beat it in, so long as you get a single victory on any mode in any custom map, you can beat it. So there is a full possibility that since this map was never tested on like Impoppable or Chimps, there might not actually be a way to beat it in harder modes. Possibility, but not 100%. Okay, let's speed it up a bit. Because we should hopefully be able to get Azazel as her before... Hopefully before we have run into issues. We're not dead yet. Okay, yeah, before upgrades was definitely the right play here. 40 short. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is where he died last time. Okay. What would be a good place for Zazel? Oh, this spot has some pretty good coverage. No, wait, because the balloons... If we put Zazel back, she won't really be doing much. If we put her down here, she won't only cover middle track. So maybe placing her down here so she can cover at least bottom and middle. We seem to be still holding down the fort pretty well. So I'll wait for this round to play, and I know some streamers have a whole thing against backseating and... wait, do we die? Please tell me we don't die. We're not gonna die. We're not gonna die. We don't believe. We die. Okay, so Azazel needs to be placed down by this round. Well, we know we can at least get to that round before we lose. Nope. Dark Monkey. We know that we're set for the early rounds. Meaning we can just keep it on fast mode. Sniper here. Now the question becomes... Thing is, with a map like this, this means without... Okay, so when you place multiple maps in Level Editor, and you don't have them set for specific rounds, it means that the balloons will spawn sort of in sequence on each lane. So first balloon will spawn, let's say, first balloon spawns here, second balloon here, third balloon here. And that works the same with MOBAs. So first MOBA, second MOBA, third MOBA. And it keeps going around in a pattern. So there's not a singular lane that the MOBAs will come in. Which makes me think that the safer option is ultimately to put Azeel down here, where she can at least cover 2 lanes. We're safe, we're safe, we're safe, we're safe, we're safe. Okay, we need to slow this down because we need to get Azeel out the moment we can. And now Azeel for coverage. Huh. Actually, I could have probably put her even further up. Damn! Okay, this'll still work. Yep. Okay. Now we should probably start going for sniper upgrades, because I think sniper will be our best friend here. Definitely top pass sniper. Set you to strong, because our darts and hero can take care of most balloons coming through. You know, one thing I wish they add to, it seems that Ninja Kiwi has kind of abandoned the level editor, but I do hope they add in like MOBA lanes that some of the main maps have. I think MOBA lanes would be a great addition. Yeah. This will get us better coverage and shrapnel shot. Oh! Oh, that was close. That was so close. Yeah, everyone has their own strategy. Jeez, to be fair. Favorite towers they like to use in every map, etc. Oh, damn it. Maybe putting Azeel up further up. Okay, clearly this is not the map for upgrading. Nah, it doesn't have enough coverage. Oh yeah, I wasn't implying that it was. Okay, we know we can win up till this point. Just slowly, bit by bit. Honestly, chimps might have been the better answer, because there's at least chimps we can restart from the round before. Meaning I don't have to start all the way from the beginning every time. Although there's a slight... I know I said I would be using Azeel for this round. But there is a chance that Azeel might not be the play here. I don't know what tower would be or what hero would be the play as a thing. I mean, Churchill could work because these are fairly straight lines. Like if I put a Churchill here, would have straight line there, there, and there. Benjamin's a good tower overall, but he's not really that much of a damage dealer. Pat and Sada have too short of a range. I mean, Etten, again, might be pretty good, because Etten would have good coverage. Adora! Yeah, Adora would go crazy. Thing is, she's such an expensive hero. Then again, that might not be too much of an issue. It'd really depend on how soon we can really get her. Yeah. Is the answer just Dart Monkey spam? It very well might be. It very well might be. Let's put a Dart Monkey back here so we get double coverage. Actually, maybe Desperado would be good in that area because he's got pretty good range. I swear, the Desperado might have... I have a reason for the Desperado. Like, look at that. Look at that coverage. Really, it's a top pass that's going to be doing us harm. Yeah, that should be pretty good coverage. So maybe a second Dark Monkey up here to cover top pass. Or maybe it's another Desperado. Actually, what round 12? And nothing that can necessarily deal with camo, at least. One last Dart Monkey up here, and then I'm gonna need to start... I'm going to need to get a handle with my sniper. But I'm fairly confident we're safe. Remember, next we need to start upgrading Sniper Monkey, because Sniper Monkey is going to be our only way to deal with camo and lead. This early. Damn it! Yeah, we might have to go with Adora. Adora might be the play here. The question becomes, will we survive long enough? Will we survive long enough to get Adora? Dart, 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 and Dart. We know that this strategy works well enough, but we also know by the time we were able to get to purchase Azazel, yeah, you know what? Azazel. Her name is now Azazel. By the time we were able to purchase Azazel, that's when we would have that's the round we would have lost. So, Double Desperado start with one Dart Monkey. Huh. Actually, yeah, I see it. Down here for the most coverage. Up here for good coverage. And then Dart Monkey back here to catch stragglers. Okay, this seems to be working pretty well. Wait, maybe spoke too soon? Or not? Okay, that was close, but it worked out. This means we can get Sniper Monkey sooner. Question is, what Desperado do we go for? Middle pass, honestly. Middle pass is probably the best part for both because middle pass will give us plenty of range. It can allow this monkey to hit up here. This monkey will still be blocked off, but it can still like hit down here. Like, since the balloons don't really congregate in a singular area, wander doesn't make much sense. And then quick draw sucks. Question is, will this be enough for us to get through? I mean, it's holding up so far. Oh, we may lose this one. We haven't lost yet. I swear, these two paths are probably the scariest because the balloons keep getting here. But what? It's gonna be a real question for what to upgrade and when. That's the other brilliant thing with these maps, custom maps especially. They haven't been out long since, like, they are basically undiscovered grounds. Whereas a lot of the other official maps have already been solved by this point. Custom maps are like their own Wild West. You don't know what the winning strategies are. Which again, I really recommend that people look through all the custom maps and just look for ones you like. Ones you find interesting, ones you think will pose a challenge to you, if you like that. Nah, middle pass Dark Monkey sucks in all cases. Honestly, I don't see any of the Dark Monkey paths really working, which makes me think a Desperado path would be better. Ah crap, do we lose here? I think we lose here. We lose here. Round 10 again. We were definitely onto something with that double Desperado start. So we know we can make it with just that initial starting. So we know this can carry us to round 10. The question is, how do we get past round 10? None of the Desperado upgrades will be helpful here. Well, maybe attack speed, actually. Actually, would this be the one aspect where Wanderer plus Middle Pass would work? Because the balloons are spread out. Nah, because if what? Yeah, no. It'll still increase the range way too much. Oh, I didn't. Okay, gonna have to use that next time I'm about to lose. What is the play here? Maybe middle pass, because what we need is coverage. Like, night vision goggles won't help, but shrapnel shot may just do it for us. And we did not get the shrapnel shot in time. Damn. Okay. Okay, plan B. Because what got us down last time was bottom path here. Or the bottom two paths here. So, tack shooter, therefore. Is it my imagination or are we doing better? Oh, balloons are coming in. Tack shooter saved us. Question is, for how much longer can it save us? Long enough to get shrapnel shot, maybe? Yeah, but would shrapnel shots really save us? Because the thing with this is that because the balloons alternate in perspective, they actually end up getting spaced out, so shrapnel shot might not do anything because there is too much space between balloons. Damn. Damn. At least the tack shooter's doing the work. Nice. This is gonna be risky, but I think I have an idea. If I can survive this round. We're going strong. We're going strong. We haven't lost yet. This might just work. Okay, we haven't lost yet. Yeah, we're gonna have to... I saw that balloon. There's no way we were popping that in time. A shrapnel shot is worth a try. Nope. Shrapnel shot was not the answer. The answer seems to be more coverage. And I know just how to get coverage. Cause these rocks don't block line of sight. I think that's a bit of an oversight. Nope, no way that's working. The change targeting to what is the question? They're already all set to first. I doubt having Sniper Monkey here on strong will do much for us. Then again, it does have that one. So let's try that previous strategy again, except maybe move you here so you cover more of the track down here. Okay. Okay, we made it. We made it. question is this now a good position? Oh, we got pinks. Nope! Dad did not pause in time. Do we go for the 4-hour mark? Let's see if we can beat this before the 4th hour mark. The problem is we don't actually make enough money to get to Adora. Again, this may be one of those maps where you can't actually beat it on harder difficulties because, well, it wasn't designed for those difficulties. Or maybe we just need a lot more Desperado spam, who knows. In fact, let's start from the beginning, do what we did last time. Actually, if we... no, wait, that... and... coverage. Actually, yeah, you may be right on the sniper. We know we can beat... Okay, so apparently we need to have our Desperados in these very specific spots to get past the first round. And then... yeah. Can we get through this round without a Desperado? Or without the Sniper Monkey? Can we? I think we almost can. Are we doing it? Gotta be ready to place down that next Desperado. Oh, wait, we made it. We made it. Place the second Desperado down here for coverage. Because I'm pretty sure we won't have to worry about top hats for a while. I wonder if they'll release a Desperado hero. And then for even more coverage. Yeah. Honestly, Desperado spam might actually work here. I say as I lose. It's not bad. Around. Let's try this again. Desperados. Strong possibility here, but maybe that's for another time. We are going to be spamming a lot of Desperados. But at least we know we can get some good Desperados here in the early game. Wait, what? Oh, I know that was cheap. Something was up there, because this is that Maybe it's the Dart Monkey placement. Okay, this should be close enough to the exact placement I had before. Definitely one of the harder ones that are out there. Okay, that might have been it. It might have been because... Oh, I can actually place the Desperado here for some pretty good coverage. It might have been because... Yeah, because... This Dart Monkey has the ability to pierce right as the balloons come in. Again, this is why you want to have a clear track of where the balloons are going. So people can actually plan around like, okay, my Dart Monkey is going to shoot at this angle, which is going to hit down this way, etc, etc. Okay, we should be able to get to our next Desperado from this position. Place you... We already have plenty of coverage. We need more coverage up here, so maybe a bit further back. The thing is, we don't have much coverage dedicated to the bottom pass, necessarily. Maybe a Desperado here? A middle path will definitely be taken care of, all things considered. But no, what keeps getting us is that balloons keep leaking back here. I think we can make it through this one. You know, this might actually be the good point where... Wait! Ah, God. This might actually be a good point. At that point, it may be good to have a Sniper Monkey out. So we know this start works. We know this start works. The map name, actually let's go to home real quick, is Dust Bowl by Crazy Ken, and here is the code, right down here. We should be able to get our next... Okay, I swear this map is fucking with me. If I know I can get to my third one around here. A bit further back to space them out more. And then I can put my fourth one up here, so I get some pretty good coverage. And then I go for the Sniper Monkey next. Okay, you should be getting a Sniper Monkey very soon. We need night vision goggles to deal with Camel, because honestly dealing with Camel is going to be a nightmare with being spaced out like this. What would the best place for a Dora even be on this map? Oh, I went through it. Question is, like, would faster firing be the better answer? Because I don't know from what direction the camo's gonna come from. I can't just give all of my guys their camo upgrade. So we're going strong so far. We need that camo detection. Okay, so is this a better position where we can save up, perchance? Just maybe we can get a door. And when we get a door, what would even be the best place to put her? Okay. Moment of truth here. Can we make it through this round? Okay, we got pinks coming in. We're not popping that in time. Okay, once again, we can't get through a door, but we can get full metal jacket and set this to strong, maybe. That should help us take care of the pinks, at least. Oh, that was close. Question becomes, do we get another Desperado and put it by here? I think we do. Because that'll get, this Desperado will get the most pretty good coverage overall. And it'll just be another Desperado. Now can we start saving? I think we can. Holy shit. Nope. Really? Yeah, I have just been panic buying with so many of these things. What did you start with? Ah, okay. Free dart up top. And then ninja in the back. Okay, I might have been a bit too presumptuous. Give me a bit. Can't forget the stream delay. Top two and then seeking first. And then end up with 2. Oh. Oh yeah, because seeking will curve around since these don't block. And did you ride with that all the way to round 15? Yeah, then... So... Okay. So you rode with a Dark Monkey and a Ninja all the way to round 15 by spamming top. Or going Dark Monkey top. Or Ninja Monkey top. Huh. Yeah, I sleep on way too many towers. Where'd you place Adora? Bottom 2 paths. Oh, so this corner area where I was putting the Desperado before? Or were you putting her further up, like around here? Oh yeah. Oh. And this should get us around 15 then. This is... Okay. So you did... She's better at the start of the map. Right, so you put her up here-ish, around this the second dirt pile. If this can get you to... So this should get to round 15, like you said. Oh, that was close. Ah. Damn. Okay, you know what? We're on to something here. Was it just... Just slightly off, maybe. The thing is with balloons, once you get to this kind of specific... yeah, don't worry about it. Once you get to this level of balloons dedication, this is when you start getting into, like, specific tower placement. That's not the monkey I wanted. Like, I remember there was this one tutorial I was watching that said... I believe it was on... God, I forget the map. It's the one with all the tire grooves. And there was stuff like, okay, you want to make sure your sniper monkey is placed where its rifle is pointed towards this rock. Like, every small placement and move can have an effect, really. Oh, that's not what I meant to press. Okay. Restart. Sorry, having some mic issues. Gonna be a bit muted for a bit. Don't worry about it. And mic issue should be fixed now. Sorry about that. Ha. Maybe double shot. I guess. Okay, we're able to get to round 14 on this last time. So let's see if I can get to round... I'll get to round 13 and then 14. Yeah, I don't know. Bloons just gets wonky sometimes. But in this case, it might be good to get double shot. Just for the bit more consistency. It means we get a Dora later. Oh wait, we might get through this. Okay, now we... Okay, yeah, it is this specific placement of the ninja monkey, it seems. And then we place Adora here. I forgot she's supposed to be placed further up. Okay. Never mind. Okay, you know what? We die on this hill. Never mind, we die here. Point is, we now know the exact pixel that a ninja monkey has to be placed in order to work. I think we probably just auto start from this point on and just spam top. It's all about the testing, I'm certain. This might act... We're almost at the 4-hour mark, I believe. We'll see how far we can get on this map. If we end up losing late on this map, then we're gonna have to probably call it quits. And I may end up moving this to the next stream before Garden Warfare. Granted, I may still do Garden Warfare during the same stream and have it like be a split stream, beat this map on Bloons in the first half, then move to Garden Warfare in the second half. Auto start off now. Continue. Okay, we can get past round 14. Yeah, we can get past round 14. And then we place Adora in the correct position by the second dirt pile. And then we hope that's enough to help. Oh yeah, because now she's getting stuff so much earlier. No, because the pink still gets by up there. In which case... What hour mark are we at? Getting pretty close to 4. Actually... Okay, so going double shot before Adora. Okay, we'll keep trying to make Adora work, but maybe Etten would be the better option, considering how both Etten and Adora have that ability to like go over. But Adora's lock-on is pretty useful, all things considered. Go place you on the exact pixel necessary, and then go for double shot before going Adora. Die before you get Adora? We'll give one last college try here. And if we fail on this, we'll give one last college try with Adora. And if we fail, we'll move it to the next stream. Honestly, double shot still might be the play. But... So you died with double shot before you got to Adora. Thing is, you die... Even if we get Adora, we die. Died to the pink on the top lane. We get to like 100, which isn't enough. Pink on the top lane. Decisions, decisions, decisions. If we get Adora here, we're gonna have absolutely no cash to get anything else. I don't think we'll even have enough to get sharp shots or something. But there is a point. They died to something on the top path, but there is a point. Well, a few points that it barely gets any coverage. Maybe this, but just maybe this Adora placement would work better. Just maybe. At least, do we get faster anything? Now we die to a pink on the bottom path. Yeah, I don't think this one is one we're gonna be beating this stream. But if anything, that just gives you lovely folks at home the chance to try beating it yourselves and seeing how far you can get. After all, these new maps are a Wild West in their own. Right? A chance for... Well, these custom maps are Wild West in their own, right? A chance for people to try series crafting them and breaking them down. Next stream is not tomorrow, but Wednesday. I typically stream Monday, or at least the plan is to stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. days a week for 3 to 4 hours. And and chances are that Wednesday is going to be a hybrid stream, because I still do want to try out Garden Warfare and see if that works any better, but not before playing on Dust Bowl again. I'll be putting up a schedule. I'll be scheduling it. Yeah, Wednesday I'm gonna schedule it. We're gonna start with Dust Bowl, and we won't be moving to Garden Warfare till we beat it. But I suppose with that, I've been Clockwork Cartoon, full-time cartoon villain and game design student, and I'll be seeing you next time.